Hey everybody, Meteorologist Ethan Emery here in the Fox 19 First Alert Streaming Center here on this Sunday, August 4th, 2024. Before we begin, I want to give a big shout out to Chief Meteorologist Steve Horstmeyer. It's his birthday today, and he's enjoying his time at home with his dogs and his wife and enjoying the nice weather we've been seeing here this afternoon and this evening. So I just want to give a shout out to my boss. Thank you, of course, for hiring me, and of course, it's always great working with somebody I grew up watching and appreciate all that Steve has done for me. But wanted to get that out of the way. We are live wherever you stream: YouTube, Facebook, the 24/7 weather streaming channel, the First Alert weather app, the Fox 19 news app, and as well as fox19.com. So we've got a lot to cover with regards to this 7-day forecast that's coming up here momentarily. Right now, though, we are looking at our Queensgate rooftop camera looking towards downtown and towards the banks. You can see some of those clouds have built up a little bit, and there have been instances of maybe a few sprinkles, a light passing shower in a few spots, but most of the tri-state has been dry. So we've got that here on this, again, Sunday edition of 19atSIX, our weekend weather show, sponsored by Cost Saver. And we want to look at the forecast ahead. We want to give you that promise. We give you the forecast within the first few minutes of 19atSIX. And overnight tonight, we've got a temperature falling down to 69 degrees. Mostly clear. Could be some patchy fog tomorrow morning, similar to how it was this morning, though it won't be quite as widespread. Tomorrow, though, another hot day, a high of 92 degrees with mostly sunny skies, and the 7-day forecast does bring in perhaps some rain chances. Not a lot, but there are some rain chances Tuesday evening, Tuesday night, into Wednesday. That's why we have partly cloudy skies for those too. And temperatures will be noticeably different between Tuesday and Wednesday because it's part of a cold front that moves through the tri-state. Got a high of 84 Wednesday after Monday and Tuesday, both in the low 90s. It's going to feel like the mid-90s, too, when you factor in the humidity. And you will notice the humidity does go down along with the temperatures for the latter half of the week into next weekend. So for Wednesday, again, that rain chance, a high of 84. Thursday, 85, with morning lows in the mid-60s. And the mid-80s will continue through next weekend. In fact, next weekend looks quite pleasant with morning lows in the low 60s and highs in the low to mid-80s. So that's the 7-day forecast. And we'll dive into this stuff more deeper as we go further in time with this 19atSIX, but I just wanted to give you that promise that we always do here for 19atSIX. So with that being said, if you have any questions or comments, you can go to our Facebook page, both the Fox 19 Facebook page as well as my Facebook page at Ethan Emery WX, and we'll be happy to answer whatever questions you may have. Of course, time-appropriate questions as well as them being respectful, of course. So if you ask me something that's really complicated, very in-depth, may not be able to fit that in the time span that we have, especially going over all the different things we've got going on here in the tri-state. So here's a live look at radar. You can see, well, we're actually pretty dry, but further off to the north, we do have a few showers right along I-70. And this is the cell I was looking at earlier. I don't know if you saw the notification on the First Alert weather app, but I did put that out there for the potential for maybe a few sprinkles, maybe a light shower, and as you can see, that cell that was just south of Lima and toward the Greenville area, it has not really done much. So it's kind of fizzled out at this point, but still bringing in some light showers toward the Springfield area. And there's also a few showers towards south side of Columbus, towards the Grove City area, and then a few light showers north of Portsmouth. And to the east of Portsmouth, that might be towards the Wheelersburg area. Not quite. Towards Porter. Okay. So either way, we're dry here in the Fox 19 now viewing area here this evening. Now, we can't roll that be that sprinkle chance, but otherwise, though, we are looking good. Now, looking across the country, there's a little bit of a difference. Obviously, the further south you go because of Tropical Storm Debbie. We'll show you the latest on that here in just a moment, but I want to wait for this radar to load. That way you can see it on radar and satellite view over to the south. So there it is. Still tropical storm, bringing in quite a bit of rainfall, as well as those bands potentially leading to isolated tornado threat over towards the peninsula of, peninsula of Florida. Excuse me. It's my Friday, can't you tell? But you can see the stark difference, drier weather over towards the Tennessee Valley to the lower Ohio Valley, aside from those few showers towards the Dayton and Columbus area. But further off to the south, there is, well, this system here. And so what we're going to do is zoom in. You can see all the rain. And what I'm going to do now is turn on the alerts. That way we can see any kind of flood watches, flood warnings, as well as severe weather. Yep, as I expected, quite a bit of severe weather situation going on there. Let me turn off the satellite real quick. So areas in red, that's a tornado watch, which includes Jacksonville, Tampa, Gainesville, all the way towards Tallahassee. And then all the green indicates flood watches. And the light green shades you see over towards south of Fort Myers, that is flood warnings and even flash flood warnings towards the Naples area. And then also some severe weather towards the Columbia area. Looks like a severe thunderstorm warning over Columbia, and a couple of flash flood warnings too to the north of Columbia there in central South Carolina. So what we're going to do now is look at the latest track from Debbie. And again, still tropical storm, and here is that latest track. So I'm going to go into this real quick. That way I can slow it down a little bit in a better view. So here it is right now. It's forecast to become a Category 1 hurricane late tonight into Monday morning. Now, Monday afternoon, this thing has sped up a little bit, and it's actually increased a little bit in intensity. So what we talked about yesterday evening, if you watched the newscast last night, we expected it to make landfall as a very weak Category 1 with winds at around 75 miles per hour. It has since increased. The forecast does call for this to have winds up to 85 miles per hour by Monday late morning, early afternoon, making landfall here right around the edge of the Panhandle and Peninsula of Florida, kind of the corner of Florida. And then we go on into the middle of the week, and this thing slows down by a lot. And we're going all the way to Wednesday. Actually, this is all the way to Thursday. Excuse me. Let me go ahead and try to turn the here we go. There we go. Turn those off. So this goes all the way up to Thursday. So by Thursday, this low pressure system is still going to be over the Carolinas. It's going to dump very heavy rainfall for those folks. In fact, I just saw the notification earlier on a First Alert weather app, not the First Alert weather app rather, but the news app, the Fox 19 news app, that South Carolina has declared a state of emergency ahead of this because of the immense amount of rainfall that's going to impact folks over towards the southern portions of South Carolina into the Atlantic coast of Georgia. So Savannah, Hilton Head Island, Beaufort, those areas could be looking at rainfall close to 2 feet of rain, just rain. So that's very significant from this tropical system. So again, it's not moving very fast going into the work week, but right now it does not look to be bringing any impacts for us here in the Fox 19 viewing area, nor really the Ohio Valley. At best, you might see some high thin clouds going into Thursday and Friday. Nothing more than that. So that is the latest on Tropical Storm Debbie. Sorry, it's kind of hard to see, kind of a banner error there. But that is the latest on Debbie. We'll break down even more refined details tonight at 10 o'clock when I gather more information when it comes to storm surge, rainfall, those kind of things, getting more data for that. But other than that, though, we'll go ahead and move on to our forecast here at home, focus more on what's to come here this work week. Before we get started on that, though, let's take a pause and look on our Fox 19 Facebook page as well as on my Facebook page at Ethan Emery WX. Hey, Gene says, happy birthday, Steve. Raymond says, so how hot is it going to be? Monday is 92 for a high, Tuesday 90, but when you factor in the humidity, it's going to feel like the mid-90s, and I'll show you that on our forecast model here in just a moment. Those are all the comments we have on our Fox 19 Facebook page. Let me now look to my Facebook page to see if I've missed anything there. Not yet. That's okay. So let's go ahead and move on. Oh, here we go. Judy says, are we going to get any rain? So, well, we are going to get some rain chances. It does not look like it's going to amount to a lot. And that's simply because of the nature of this front. Not a really strong front as it moves in going into the middle of the work week. So let's go ahead and get our forecast model up since people are asking about the forecast this upcoming week. And then we'll go back to the observations, what we saw today, stuff like that here in a moment. So it was a pretty warm day. Hopefully you're able to get out and enjoy it. I certainly did. Went on a walk for a little bit. Got to soak in the rays a little bit and get some exercise in before I came into work. We go into Monday morning. Again, patchy fog. It's possible, but it does not look to be really much of an issue for your Monday morning. Monday, you can see we've got a lot of sunshine. Highs breaking into the low 90s. Yeah, 92, my forecast high for Monday. Though this model is probably going to go up a little bit, yeah. It's a little bit hot when it comes to the temperatures, this model in particular. But it does show dry conditions for your Monday, as to be expected. We go into Tuesday. Tuesday morning looks fine. Though this model, again, running very hot. I'm not sure why it tends to do this, but it is. So Tuesday afternoon, Tuesday evening, can't rule that pop-up chance. This has it a little bit earlier, but I do think Tuesday late afternoon and evening do have the opportunities for a few showers, rumbles of thunder, and here you go. Tuesday evening, this is what I was alluding to, and we're going to have that chance. Now, just like it has been the last few weeks, any shower or storm that develops is going to have the opportunity to dump a lot of heavy rain in a short period of time. It's just the nature of our atmosphere. We got a lot of humidity to work with, a lot of available moisture. So anything that develops is going to dump a lot of rain. So this is Tuesday evening. Notice the shift from the light green to the red. So very heavy rainfall could be associated with any cell that develops Tuesday afternoon into Tuesday evening. And this threat is going to continue Tuesday night into Wednesday. This is all ahead of a front, mind you. So the cold front has not yet passed. And you see here Wednesday morning, still some shower activity that moves in. Granted, it's all not a lot, so not everyone's going to see this. I know some places really need the rain, and I hope that some of this rain impacts you. That way you can get some of that rain, relieve the drought conditions that have been happening. But that being said, some locations will see the rain, others will not. That's just kind of the nature of this line that's going to develop. It's all ahead of a cold front. Mind you, the cold front, not a strong cold front, but enough to trigger these showers and a few thunderstorms. Now, when it comes to this rain, I don't suspect severe activity. That being said, we do have a marginal risk of severe weather on Tuesday, with that line moving in Tuesday evening. Let's go ahead and play it up in a better view. This is a wider view. So we go into Tuesday morning. Again, Tuesday morning looks dry. Tuesday evening, this model is a little bit slower with the timing, but we still have rain chances Tuesday afternoon into Tuesday evening over the Fox 19 Now viewing area. I will say if there's any threat for stronger storms, I think it's better further north. Tuesday afternoon, I'm thinking north of Dayton, so over towards, say, the Lima area, Mansfield over into northern Ohio, or getting on the cusp of northern Ohio, towards the Fort Wayne area, perhaps even Muncie. Those locations up here, I think might have a better opportunity to see some stronger storms Tuesday afternoon to Tuesday evening. For us, I think at best, Tuesday afternoon and Tuesday evening, we could see some gusty, breezy winds off of these showers and storms. Because think about it. It's going to be pretty warm on Tuesday, hot, low 90s. Low 90s, a lot of humidity, and when you have those rain showers move in, you are going to get rain-cooled air behind that rain because you have that change in atmospheric conditions. It's going to make a big difference in temperature. So you're going from 90 degrees to perhaps the 70s. That's a big enough temperature difference to where you're going to get some wind outflow off of that rain-cooled air. So again, breezy winds, heavy rain, thunder and lightning are going to be the impacts, I believe, for Tuesday afternoon and Tuesday evening. And I don't see anything severe. We do have a marginal risk of severe weather on Tuesday, but that far out, only being a marginal, does not concern me. And I think it's only out there because of that potential for, like I said, maybe a gust front or an outflow boundary to develop from the rain-cooled air. And it could lead to potential, maybe microburst potential. If you're unfamiliar, a microburst, a big rush of wind behind the storm, and it could lead to maybe some minor damage possibly. But even then, that's not always severe warned. So we go into Monday. So here's Monday afternoon. Heat index values in the mid-90s. So it's going to feel like the mid-90s on Monday. Actual temperatures in the low 90s. We go into Tuesday. Actual temperatures in the low 90s. Feels like temperatures Tuesday in the upper 90s in a few spots. Let's go back a little bit. There we go. A few spots could be very close to the triple digits. Now, I don't suspect it to be a widespread issue, but if anyone were to see heat index values in the triple digits, it's going to be those agricultural areas. So areas that have a lot of cornfields, soybean fields, a lot of vegetation. And I'm not referring to trees, I'm referring to specifically agricultural plants. Plants that transpire a lot of moisture. Corn and soybeans. I grew up in Highland County. Those two crops are very notorious to have a lot of transpiration, a lot of available moisture surrounding it. And that tends to give you a higher yield of dew points. So dew points could very well get into the low 80s in those spots. And I'm looking at Lebanon, I'm looking at Batesville, although this model doesn't really incorporate that. I'm looking at perhaps Highland County, where I'm from, other agricultural rich areas like Clinton County, Brown County, Claremont County, perhaps portions of northern Kentucky, and then also, like I said, over towards Batesville, perhaps towards Decatur County and Franklin County. So those areas could very well see heat index values in the triple digits on Tuesday, though it's going to be very localized. Regardless, whether it's a feels like of 100 or 99, still going to be hot enough to where you need to take it easy on Tuesday if you're going to be outside during the day. And, of course, find ways to stay cool and drinking plenty of fluids. But I have some good news here. Once the graphic loads, of course. And that's going to be that humidity is not going to last forever in this 7-day forecast. Had to have some energy today. The schedule changes have been kind of affecting me a little bit, making me sleepy. So we go ahead into the Muggy meter, and there you go. I showed you this a couple of days ago, showing it just staying very humid all through the 7 days. No longer the case. Happy to report. You can see Wednesday, the dew points began to take a dive. It's because of that cold front. We go into Thursday, there could be some dew points increasing into the low 60s. That's behind the front. And then we go into Friday, dew points begin to go back into the lower 60s and perhaps even the 50s. So we are looking at improvements with regards to the dew points. So more drier, more comfortable air will be in place. Now I know that some locations, of course, need the rain. So that may not be good news for those of you who want the rain. But if we're going to have the rain, it's going to be very humid. It's going to be miserable to be outside for a long period of time. But if you need to be outside, the lower humidity is obviously better. And we're going to have that going towards the end of the work week into next weekend. Which, by the way, next weekend, things look dry. Things look great. And we are looking at the 7-day forecast here momentarily. And next weekend, hard to believe, we've got preseason football with the NFL, the Bengals, which we've got that here on Fox 19, of course, as Fox 19 is the flagship station for the Bengals. And temperatures for that, here at home at least, look really nice. 83 degrees and sunshine. Also next weekend is the VOA Country Music Festival taking place over at the Voice of America Park. That's, of course, in Butler County. So amongst all the other events that's been happening, we've got more events next weekend. And surely the forecast looks good for that. Sunshine, lower humidity. in the 7-day forecast here. So that is what we've got right now. I have some comments showing up on my Facebook page. I'll look at those real quick, and then we'll look at the Fox 19 Facebook page, answer those, and then we'll move along. So hopefully you all had a chance to get outside today, even though it was kind of humid. Susan says, hello from Blanchester. No rain for my area. You have fingers crossed emojis. Not sure if you want rain or you don't want the rain. But, yeah, I love going to Blanchester. Very beautiful community there in Clinton County. And I only live not too far away. I live in Milford, so just a short drive away. Blanchester is really cool. And I used to drive through there a few times whenever I used to coach football when I was in college for the East Clinton Astros. If you don't know where that's at, that's in northeastern Clinton County towards the Sabina, Lees Creek area. And really cool school, although it was a rival of Hillsborough. But after I would go to that, I would drive down over towards Highland, which is where Ohio 28 goes through. And if I was ever visiting my family who live in Loveland, I would just drive on 28, go through Blanchester, go through Goshen, and then get eventually 48 to Loveland. So you've got that. So Judy, to answer your question about the rain, we have the chances for some rain Tuesday afternoon, Tuesday evening, Tuesday night, and Wednesday. Aside from that, the 7-day looks dry. Maybe not the answer you're looking for, but we do have rain chances nonetheless. Clarine says, good evening. Good evening to you as well. So yeah, Monday and Tuesday look pretty hot. The rest of the 7-day forecast, not so bad. Now granted, it's still going to be warm, but it's not going to be hot enough to where it's going to be, you know, a concern or an issue. Now I will say tomorrow, I did not make a graphic for this. I haven't had the chance to, but I'm sure you've probably seen it on the air if you've been watching on Fox 19 or maybe on the Fox 19 First Alert Weather app or on our social media, that tomorrow we do have an air quality alert for the Cincinnati metro area because of the potential for high ozone levels. So ways to avoid having issues with the ozone levels in your area is the Southwest Ohio Air Quality Agency has a few lists of things you can do to help prevent that, and that includes, you know, maybe carpooling, not having as many cars on the roadway, because when a car is, I don't want to say stalled, but at a light and it's on, it can allow for ozone levels to increase. That's how smog forms in large cities when all those cars and traffic are sitting still. You have those emissions come out. Also mowing, if you can hold off on mowing, the Air Quality Agency does suggest that, and in other things too. You can go to their website for more on tips to lessen the ozone levels in the Cincinnati metro area. So that's the 7-day forecast. Let's look beyond the 7-day forecast with the temperature outlook from the Climate Prediction Center. And I do agree with this. They do have temperatures, I believe, near normal going into, yep, there we go, near normal going into the middle of August. So this is, let me look at the days. This would be for the 12th through the 18th. Okay, my computer's freezing up on me. So, we've got that. Let's see if we can turn on the camera behind me. That way we can have something a little different. Well, there we go. We'll keep that on for the moment while the graphics want to load. So we do have temperatures near normal through the 18th of August, meaning highs will generally be in the low to mid 80s, lows will be in the low to mid 60s through the middle of the month. So next couple of weeks we're looking at nothing too hot, nothing too chilly, just kind of just hanging around. But we do have some rain chances going into From what I remember looking at the forecast and the data through the following week, I do believe rain chances do return the following Monday or Tuesday. So there are going to be some chances of rain. So for those of you holding on to the hope of seeing some rain, there are going to be those opportunities, but a lot of those days will be more dry than wet. So that's kind of the trade-off here. So temperature's not going to be too hot to further induce the drought conditions, but at least we do have some rain chances. And going through the end of August, temperatures look to be near normal. We're going to be kind of in this pattern where the ridge of the hotter air is, oh, I don't even have the graphic behind me. I've been talking about this without it behind me. So here we go. Let's go back real quick. That way you can see what I'm talking about. Man, it's my Friday, can't you tell? So again, near normal temperatures through the 18th of August. When it comes to precipitation, we are going to be looking at just above normal for the middle of August. So there could be some rain chances, but I will say it does look more dry than wet. And going through the end of August, we are looking at temperatures near normal here across the Fox 19 Now viewing area and across the Ohio Valley for that matter. And when it comes to rainfall, nothing that stands out. So we're not looking at any kind of major flooding issues nor major drought concerns, though there is the moderate drought in the tri-state, something we'll be, of course, monitoring, but we're not looking at a pattern that's going to induce us into a severe drought, at least with this data that's suggesting that. So we're still in a rainfall deficit for a lot of locations, but at least it is at the point where it's not severe, right now at least. Hopefully that doesn't get to that point, but the data is suggesting that we're not looking at things being severely dry, but the rain chances are not looking favorable to relieve us entirely of the drought conditions. So here's the 7-day forecast one more time. We're going to wrap this up here pretty shortly, but as you can see, the rain chances are with us Tuesday afternoon through Wednesday. Again, Tuesday, any kind of severe threat, I'm not looking at anything major, but there could be a gust of wind behind a cell or even ahead of the cell in an outflow boundary. But the main concern for Tuesday and Wednesday, if any, is going to be the concern for very heavy rain with this front as it makes its way through, as well as some thunder and lightning. But it's going to be hot, it's going to be humid Monday and Tuesday, even into Wednesday, a little bit of humidity out there with the rain opportunities, but then we go into the latter half of the week into next weekend. Humidity will be much more in check here into the Fox 19 Now viewing area. We'll take one last look on the Fox 19 and my Facebook pages, and then we'll go ahead and wrap this up. No further comments on my Facebook page. Carrie, over in Georgetown. Shout out to Georgetown. Beautiful little community there in central Brown County. Never, when I was in high school, we never played Georgetown with regards to football. I think we played Georgetown in basketball. But I remember playing Western Brown. Western Brown was a rival of Hillsboro's. And I remember my senior year, I got my butt whooped. There was a couple of really big guys who played defensive linemen, and I was the center. I was the shortest center of the league at the time. Crazy. But yeah, no, Brown County, I love going through Brown County. It's a beautiful drive. There's a lot of cool things to do and see. Mount Orab, Georgetown, of course, down to Ripley, up to Fayetteville. Anyway, I'm rambling. Here's the latest, Carrie. Oh, look at this. AR watching from, I don't know how to pronounce it, Lyon, France, by way of Cincinnati, Ohio. Well, thank you for joining us, AR. Appreciate you watching. So here's the latest on Tropical Storm Debbie. Again, the banner. Let me turn this off real quick. That's really annoying. Let's turn that off. There we go. We don't have to worry about that anymore. So here's Tropical Storm Debbie. For some reason, our computer thing, Frank downloaded a few things and they're not working for some reason. But it does not automate like it's supposed to. But let me go ahead and pull up the latest on Debbie real quick. Tropical Storm Debbie, according to the National Hurricane Center, which for some reason their website's not pulling up. Try that again. Debbie has winds of 65 miles per hour. So it's a pretty strong tropical storm. It's moving to the north at 12 miles per hour, so it has picked up speed in terms of directional speed. And again, the forecast does take it into Florida going into late tonight into Monday morning. So let's go ahead and zoom in. That way you can see the locations. Cool. So I'm just going to, sorry, this is kind of a pain. Let's go ahead and remove that. Generate labels. So it's going to be really near Tallahassee. So between Port St. Joe and Cross City, Florida. Tallahassee kind of right in the middle between all of this, but very likely to make landfall as a Category 1 hurricane. The forecast does have it up to 85 miles per hour upon landfall. And then once we go into the work week, it's going to not move very much. It's actually going to be kind of caught in front of a front. So I showed it earlier of radar and satellite. There's kind of a line of showers and cloud cover that's overhead in the southeast, and it's going to be kind of caught into that. That's why it's not moving very much. And earlier last week, there were indications that this thing could make its way close to the Ohio Valley. Not the case at all at this point. There are some uncertainties, but the more the data comes in, the better, or the more likely it seems to be staying to the east of the Appalachian Mountain region. That being said, it's a bigger problem now, not for anybody in the Appalachian Mountain region per se, but more so for Georgia and South Carolina. So right here, kind of this bullseye area with Savannah, Hilton Head Island, over towards Beaufort, which is southern portions of South Carolina. There's a different terminology with a different pronunciation with the name. So there's Beaufort in South Carolina and North Carolina. They both pronounce it different. Beaufort in South Carolina and Beaufort, I believe, in North Carolina. So that's an interesting fun fact. But aside from that, it's going to be a serious situation for those folks because a lot of heavy rain. So rainfall totals could exceed 20 inches of rainfall in those locations. So quite significant. So flooding is a very serious concern for those folks in Savannah and in the Charleston metro areas there, and along the Atlantic coast of South Carolina and Georgia. So something we'll be monitoring. We've got our sister stations down there, of course, that are going to be covering all of this very well. I actually know one of those stations very well. I interned at our sister station in Charleston, South Carolina. That's Live 5, great meteorology group there. And the people down there are in good hands with those meteorologists. Not as familiar with our Savannah station, but I do know that the company I work within called Gray Television, we have a lot of good meteorologists at most of our stations here. So that location or those areas are going to be dealing with a lot of heavy rain and the risk for some severe weather. So we've got that. Let's go ahead and show the radar and satellite, because I want to show that one more time before we close things off. And we'll go ahead and get ready for the 10 o'clock newscast tonight here on Fox. Man, the computer is ready for the weekend, let me tell you. Well, I should say ready for my weekend. It's a weekend for the computer, and it's still running a little slow. So here we go. You can see the line here part of it's a dying cold front, but what it's done is it's enough to keep this from going further north. So it's kind of caught in this. It's going to move over towards the Carolina coast and then eventually try to push its way up, but it's going to have this hard time and kind of get stuck here. When it gets stuck like that, it's going to dump a lot of heavy rain. And right now there are a lot of active watches, even warnings. So let's go ahead and turn on the different watches and warnings. I don't know if there are any warnings right now. Let's go ahead and find that out. No active tornado or severe thunderstorm warnings, but there are flash flood warnings in central South Carolina, not associated with Debbie, but still with those outer bands that are associated with a tropical system like this. It's always good to have a watch like that out because you have those outer bands right here. So these bands here, that band there, this band down here, very notorious to have these little quick spin up tornadoes. And that's just kind of the nature of how these things are because you have these little vortmaxes, or this is not going to sound entirely correct, but little bits of rotation that go along these lines and could very easily spin up a tornado. So they did the right thing by issuing a big tornado watch. That way the folks down there in Florida could be attentive to that as well as the heavy rain that's coming in. So that's latest on Debbie. Again, we'll break this down in much more detail and have more reaction from the folks down in Florida too on our newscast. So without further ado, I think we're going to go ahead and close things off. Oh, thank you, AR. Leon. I had an assumption it was going to be Leon, but thank you. Appreciate the correction. So that is all we have time for today. Thank you all so much for joining us here on this Sunday edition of 19 at 6. We'll see you tonight at 10 o'clock on Fox 19. If you can't make it for the newscast and you are going to bed early perhaps, Frank's going to have you covered beginning at 4:30 on Fox 19. And, of course, we got Catherine Bodak, Ashley Smith, and I believe Steve Horsemeyer is returning tomorrow. I believe. I haven't double-checked the schedule fully. I believe he's coming back tomorrow. But if not, he does come back this week, for sure. Maybe he'll take an extra vacation. I doubt it, but maybe. Either way, though, if you can, take a moment, go to his Facebook page, wish him a happy birthday. So that's all. Thank you all so much for joining us on this Sunday edition of 19 at 6.